Filling the frame is one of the most important photography rules to consider when taking a photograph. And if you haven't heard the term filling the frame before, you've probably heard variations. Get closer, I don't need a tripod, I have my legs, I've heard that before. Or whatever is not adding to the photograph is taking away from it. What these are all trying to stress is that if you don't fill your frame and you have all of this unnecessary background that's not really adding to the photograph, then your composition will suffer as a result. So let's see what that looks like now. I've just picked a plant here. And at 24mm, it's right in the middle. I take a photograph and it looks fine, but it's not particularly interesting. Instead, what filling the frame is saying is that anything that is not adding to make this photograph better is actually making it worse. This is currently filling, I don't know, 15% of the frame. If it fills 80% of the frame and all the other 85 that wasn't that interesting previously is removed, then that photograph is better as a result. So let's try that again. So I can tell just by looking at this here that that second photo is much more interesting. It's focusing on the subject itself without having all these extra distractions. That's one thing that I love to say to photographers. One simple rule, one simple thing to consider before taking a photograph is, if it doesn't add to the photograph, it takes away. And just about everyone can get that. I say that to my friends when I'm taking a photograph of them, or we're sitting at a dinner table and there's dirty plates in front of us and they want a photo taken. I tell them, remove the plate, whatever doesn't add to the photograph takes away from it. And they remember this, because that dirty plate is not making that photograph better, it's making it worse. So I either zoom in or we remove the plates, whatever looks best. Here's another good example of filling the frame. I'm quite close right now, but if I take a photo while zoomed all the way in, it's not a particularly interesting image. However, if I get really close as I can get without the focus giving me problems, and without the shadow landing on the flower, and just to cheat a little bit, I'm going to turn the aperture to a wider aperture for a shallower depth of field. And that's much more interesting than had I backed all the way across. Look how close I am, that's how close I have to get. Just a good example of how filling the frame makes your photo more interesting. It's all about filling your frame and making it look as best as possible, using your whole frame to tell the story that you want to tell, instead of using just 15–20% of the frame. So that's how you fill the frame. Thank you for watching.